Hi folks, and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to show you how I set up my Linux environment for productivity. Today we will be setting up my laptop. So without any further ado, let's get started. So we will start with the base ZorinOS 15 installation. It's got nothing on it apart from OBS, my screen capturing software. We will start by installing Gnome shell extensions. So we will go to extensions.gnome.org. I will download OpenWeather. It's a very good extension for forecast, integrated straight into the UI, and it also shows you the current outside temperature in the top bar. I will also install Clipboard Indicator, which is a very good clipboard manager, and the Bing wallpaper changer. This extension has as a purpose to change your wallpaper to match the daily Bing picture. It's very good, but I sometimes keep it disabled because when changing the wallpaper, it sometimes interferes with other extensions and causes them to crash. Next, we will install CPU Power Manager. I installed this just on my laptop, and its purpose is to allow the user to limit the CPU frequency. The reason for that is to get better power efficiency and thus getting better battery life. I will also install Unite, which is an extension that helps make GNOME more similar to the Unity desktop interface Ubuntu once had. We will customize it to look more like GNOME, but retain the main feature, which is merging the title bar and the top bar of maximized applications. Now let's move on to themes. We'll go to gnomelook.org. Here we will search for the Ant theme. To the top right, you might notice a download button. That button extends a drop-down where you can select all the variations you want. I will download the slim variation of every color version of it. Ant has multiple variants with different accent colors and background colors. I will download all of them, but in the slim variant. What this means is that the title bar is thinner. As you can see in this theme, the title bar is very thick. Now, the standard version of Ant has that same thick title bar, and I don't really like it. But Ant has a slim version where the title bar is thin, and I really love the look of that, and this is what I'm going to install. Next, we're going to install the snap packages. I will install my desired code editors, Atom, Visual Studio Code, and Sublime that I sometimes use. I will also install GitKraken, which is a very good Git client, and then the software I use for communications, which are Skype, Discord, and Slack, and a version of WhatsApp Web that is adapted into a snap package. It's running on Chromium, as far as I know, and it's called WhatsDesk. It's very similar to what you'd find on WhatsApp Web on Windows, and it's very good. I will also download Mozilla Thunderbird, which is a very good email client, and it also supports two-factor authentication, and I find that very important. Next, I will install Google Chrome. Google Chrome I don't use very often, but it's good because it supports Node.js debugging capabilities, and also it's got very good integration with JavaScript, so when you want to debug something. I will also download the JetBrains toolbox, and also the source code for Node.js. So you might notice that some are called standard buttons. Now, I will rename the folder in that archive to also have standard and then move the folders to the .themes folder. The dot signifies that it's a hidden folder. To see the hidden folders, press Ctrl H on your keyboard. Now, what does that standard buttons mean? Well, you might notice that in the screenshots, Ant has OS X-like buttons for minimize, maximize, and close, those colored circles. Now, some don't prefer that look, and the Ant theme also comes in a variant where those three buttons, minimize, maximize, and close, are the standard GNOME icons. So I will extract all the archives into the .themes folder. Again, if you don't see the hidden folders, press Ctrl H, and by default, the themes folder is not created. So all you need to do is create a new folder that is called .themes. Next, I will install Google Chrome. It comes in a standard Debian package. Now with Chrome installed, it's time to install JetBrains Toolbox. This is very easy to install. Just extract the contents of the archive and run the file inside the folder. And then JetBrains Toolbox will be automatically installed. So let's just run the file. We will be prompted to the user license agreement. Accept, and now it's done. You can also see it has a tray icon. It still runs in the background, and by default, it's added as a startup program. So it runs by default when we start the computer. If you don't like that, starting when the computer starts, you can tweak in the GNOME tweak tool to disable it as a startup program. Now I will just install everything that I need: IntelliJ IDEA for Java, Android Studio, PyCharm for Python, WebStorm for web development, PHP Storm, DataGrep for database management, and Writer for C# and .NET. So let's download the Node.js source code. And now let's install Node.js version 12. The reason why I don't install Node by the apt package manager is because that installs version 8, while I need version 12 LTS. So let's just open a terminal window in that folder and run the configure script, which is a Python script. Next, we'll run make to compile the code, and I got this error because I forgot to install build essentials. That is a dependency that allows us to compile. It has a compiler. And this will also be necessary if you install CLion. If it's not the first time you do that, you might be able to recall that when you first installed it, you needed to install build essentials as well. Next, we'll run make to compile the code, and I will be right back once this is finished, because this does take quite a while. Now, with that done, we'll just run sudo make install, and the compiled code will be installed, and that way we'll get Node, which will also take quite a while. Next, it's time to install Gnome Tweak and the Gnome Tweak tool. So we'll just list all the Gnome Tweak packages and then install Gnome Tweaks from the apt package manager and also the Gnome Tweak tool. Okay, now that that's done, it's time to start configuring our Gnome extensions. So we will exit the terminal, and then if you also have Zorin, and if you want to have this exact setup, you will need it because it has some built-in extensions that are really good, and Ubuntu doesn't have them by default. So under System Tools, you will be able to find the Gnome Tweak tool. So we will open that, and first of all, we will set the theme to and. So I prefer the default and look, the light version. If you want a dark version of this theme, the Dracula variant is the one to go. Next, we will install the icon pack, and for that, I like Flat Remix. Now, Flat Remix also is a theme for GTK and for the GNOME shell, but I want just the icon pack. Now, I will link this repository in the description of the video. So once you're on the GitHub page on the repository for the icon theme, you will see that down in the description of the repository, there is a URL. So here you have the contents of the repository, and down here you have the link. So once this page opens up, you can click the blue download button and be redirected to a page to manually download and install the icon theme. Or if you have Ubuntu or an Ubuntu-based distribution, you can install it via the apt package manager. So scroll down, and down under the pictures, you will find here commands for Ubuntu-based distributions and also for Fedora-based distributions. So we'll just copy the repository link so that we can add the repository. We will copy the whole command, paste it into the terminal, insert the password for sudo, and then I will also copy the command to install, which contains the package name. Press enter to continue adding the repository to the list. And now we will run an update. And next, we'll just paste in the command to install the package, which is the Flat Remix icon theme. Okay, and with this done, we can quit the terminal and then head back into the Gnome Tweak tool. So you can also search for it in the menu, and then we can set the icon theme to the flat remix red. So with that done, we will just enable the home icon and the trash icon on the desktop, and then head over to the extensions so we can configure the extensions. So next, I will just open the configuration for the Bing wallpaper changer. Here you can select if you want a dark icon or a light icon. Then you can delete the previously downloaded wallpapers. I will enable that because I want to save some disk space. And then select the screen resolution to the display resolution. So I will select 1366 by 768, which is my laptop resolution. So next, I will head into the CPU Power Manager settings, and then I will select a default profile for when it is on, when it's charging, when it's running on AC power. So I'll select the high performance, and then when it switches to battery power, to select the multimedia profile. Now here on the profiles, you can select the minimum and maximum CPU frequency for each profile. Now this is displayed in percentage. It's not displayed in megahertz nor gigahertz. So I will tweak the frequencies to my liking to maintain a balance between performance and power usage, so that I can get better battery performance and also good performance in terms of computing power. If you want to fine-tune, you can also click on a dial and then use the arrow keys to move the slider left and right by one step. So next we will configure the OpenWeather extension, the ones that shows us the current outside temperature and the forecast for the following days. Now in terms of Clipboard indicator, there are customizations, but there isn't really anything I would like to do apart from increasing the preview size. And also you can put keyboard shortcuts for toggling on and off the menu with what you have in the Clipboard Manager, but I almost never remember those shortcuts and I prefer clicking on the icon. So onto OpenWeather, I will add my town. And remove the default selection. Next, I will set the units to metric, to degrees Celsius, to kilometers per hour, and to millimeters in mercury. Next, I will set the position of the window that opens up when you click more to the center of the screen, and the rest of the settings are good for me. I don't want to do any other tweaking to it. If you want, you can add or remove days from what you can see in terms of forecast. And next, we will tweak Unite. Again, Unite is meant to bring back the look of the Unity desktop interface. So I will disable the top bar left box, which basically shifts everything more to the right, just like Unity used to be, but I will disable it to get the center look. Now I will disable Zorin menu, Zorin panel, the screen keyboard button, and the taskbar to get to the Gnome default top bar. So now it doesn't interfere with the Unite. I'll also enable the Zorin dash, which is basically just a dock for Gnome. Next, I'll go back to the Unite settings. So as I said, this one just shifts them to the right, like Unity used to do. And then I will always show the activities button in the top left corner. And I will move the notification messages to the center. Now, if you see, they are default to the right, like Unity used to do, but I like them in the center. So disable apply system fonts to shell theme, and also I will let Unite display the drop-down arrows for all of the menus. Also, this item spacing will just make the font look nice and small again. Now, if you want a big font, you can let that enabled, but I prefer the cleaner look that it has when it is disabled. And next, I will select the OS X buttons for the top bar buttons and select them to the left. Next, we will configure Zorin Dash, which is basically the dock you can see to the left right now. So I will let that to the left. I will get the default Ubuntu look. So to do that, I will disable the auto hide. You can see now it takes the whole space. We will extend it to the screen edges. I'll make the icons smaller, but you can see that that dock is still quite large. It's got quite a bit of unused space. And you can see that because it has a lot of padding around the icons. So to do that, we will enable shrink the dash, which is the second option under the appearance tab. Now, the use built-in theme will allow you to use the ant theme look to that dock, but I prefer to customize it. So we will select segments for the open apps. Now, you can set a custom color if you want it light and white to match the rest of the theme, but I will like having it a bit dark so my eyes are focused to the window. I'll put adaptive opacity and customize the values. So I will let the maximum to 80% as it is, but I will set the minimum to 10%, make it more transparent when a window is not maximized, stuck against it. So next I will make the fonts smaller to put them to around 0.95 size, especially because I'm on a 15-inch laptop with a lower resolution. The text is quite big and I'd like it more compact. I will go and disable the suspend mode. Here you can disable the toolbox from startup, and I will do that. Now on the top bar, we can display multiple things, but I will enable the battery percentage and to show the current date. Next, under Windows, I will select so that the buttons for minimize, maximize, and close are to the left. I did prefer the old Unity look of Ubuntu in terms of how it managed screen space, merging the top bar and the title bar and the menus, and also I got used to having them to the left. So you can see that it's pretty much ready right now. You can use it like that. It's similar to the default Ubuntu look. So I'll let that to light to have a bit of contrast against the top bar. And right now it looks pretty good, but I don't have all of the modifications I want in terms of productivity. Now you can see here the variations of the anthem. This is Bloody. This is Dracula, which is, just as I said, a darker version of the normal anthem. And it has different, slightly different pink for the accent color. You can see we can change the shell theme as well. It's got more of a purple look to it. Now there is Nebula, which has a blue accent color, light background, but darker title bar. But I will stick to the standard ant theme. I like it into the light mode as it is right now, and I think it looks pretty good. But we're not done yet. So one thing that I do want is having more screen estate on the laptop because it's a smaller display. I want to be able to hide the dock. So that Zorin dash you can see to the left, I'll move it to the bottom. I will disable that. I will enable the auto hide and disable the extend to screen edges option so that it is more compact, and make the icons slightly larger. So we'll make the icons larger and disable the panel extend to the sides. And you can see it's more similar to an OS X layout. If you want the Zorin OS X layout, this is the way to do it manually without paying for the ultimate version. We'll disable shrink, and you can see now it looks pretty much similar to the OS X layout that Zorin has. It's very good on the laptop because it maximizes screen space with that auto hide, and it's very, very good in terms of screen usage. You can see the auto hide works, and also the adaptive opacity. But there is one more thing I would like, and that is some kind of feature where you get the spotlight search that you get on a Mac. So that is a very good feature, and I love it to have that spotlight search. You can search on anything on any screen. So to do that, we will use ULauncher. So I will fire up Firefox, and let's firstly disable the buttons there, because you can see we have double buttons in terms of close, minimize, and maximize. So we will enable the title bar, and now it's merged with the top bar here in Unite. So we'll open a new tab and go and search for ULauncher. I discovered this while using Elementary OS, and I really loved it. So we will go to download, and here you can see we have a Debian package, a .deb file that we can use to install ULauncher. So we'll hit OK, and then run the Debian file. And just click install. It's a very good tool. It allows you to search basically all the apps that you have installed. So all the programs, you can search for it, and then it will show up. And also you can customize URL queries so that you can search, let's say, Google, you can search Stack Overflow, you can search YouTube. Straight from it, you just launch it with the keyboard shortcut, and then put in the search items, hit enter, and it will automatically open it in a browser with your search results. So you can see hotkey is set to control space. Once we launch the program, we have it in the tray icons. So I will hit control and space, and it should show up, and it will show up as a search box. So if we go to preferences here, we can set the theme. We can have it on default Ubuntu, which has that dark with orange accents. We can set it to darker mode if we want it to be in a darker theme. And you can add multiple shortcuts. So as I said, you can add multiple queries so you can search. So let's do a YouTube search shortcut, so we can search straight from it to YouTube. So the keyword will be YT, and then we have to put the query. And this is very, very simple. So what we'll do is we'll go and fire up a browser window. So we'll fire up Firefox. And then what we need to do is open up YouTube. So now we'll do a search, a test search. Now we'll search for %s, because this is what will get replaced with the search that will do. So we will copy that to the clipboard, and then we'll paste it in here as a query. And then you have to replace the queries that you searched for in your test search with %s, and that will be automatically replaced by ULauncher with what you search for. So if I search for a test word, that %s will be replaced with a test word. So we can search for anything and can set up shortcuts for anything. So if you press Control Space, this window will be brought up, and then you can search for programs on the computer, or you can do searches for the internet. So thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more videos like this, click the subscribe button. So see you next time on HowToIT.